My friend, there comes a time in every believer's life when the doors of opportunity seem to close, when your prayers for a job, a position, or a breakthrough seem to echo back in silence. You look around and wonder, Lord, why is nothing working? You see others being promoted, others celebrated, and you sit there asking, when will it be my turn? The difference between man's plan and God's divine purpose is one of the greatest revelations a person can ever receive in their spiritual journey. Man's plan is built on sight, logic, and human understanding. It is often formed from what we see others doing, what society defines as success, or what feels comfortable and secure to our natural mind. We plan our careers, set our goals, and chase after what seems good, yet we often forget that what is a good is not always what is a God. Human plans are shaped by ambition and limited by perspective, but God's purpose is eternal, vast, and crafted with divine intention long before we ever took our first breath. When we follow our own plans, we usually pursue stability, recognition, and comfort. We seek what we can control. But God's divine purpose doesn't always follow the path of ease, it follows the path of growth. His purpose stretches us beyond the borders of our own understanding. It may lead us through seasons that seem confusing or even painful, yet each step is designed to bring us closer to who He destined us to become. Man's plan is about achieving. God's purpose is about becoming. Man plans for income. God plans for impact. Many people spend years chasing after positions, titles, or dreams they think will fulfill them, only to find emptiness at the end of their pursuit. This is because a plan without divine purpose always leaves a void. You can have a high paying job and still feel directionless because true satisfaction is not found in what your hands can build, but in what your spirit is aligned with. When your life is in tune with God's purpose, there is peace even in uncertainty, joy even in waiting, and confidence even when nothing makes sense. God's divine purpose often looks different from what we expect. Sometimes He hides it behind disappointments or delays so that we learn to trust His heart more than our own reasoning. The job you lost, the opportunity that slipped away, the door that closed, none of it was a mistake. Those were divine interruptions meant to redirect your steps towards something greater than you could imagine. Man's plan is built on control, but God's purpose requires surrender. You cannot fully receive what heaven has designed for you while clinging tightly to what you designed for yourself. To understand the difference is to stop asking God to bless your plan and start asking Him to reveal His. Because when your will aligns with His purpose, your life ceases to be ordinary. It becomes supernatural, guided not by human effort but divine orchestration, where every step, even the unexpected ones, lead you toward destiny. The frustration of chasing something not meant for you is one of the most exhausting experiences a person can go through. It feels like running on a treadmill, expending energy, striving, sweating, but never truly getting anywhere. You put in effort, prayer, and persistence, but doors keep closing, results remain unseen, and peace slips away. That frustration is not always a sign of failure. Sometimes it's a gentle whisper from God saying, "This is not your path." The problem is that we often mistake resistance for delay when in truth, it may be divine redirection. There are times when people pursue opportunities, careers, or relationships simply because they appear promising or logical. The job looks stable, the salary seems secure, the position looks respectable, but inside something feels unsettled. That inner unrest is not random. It's the Spirit of God stirring your heart to recognize that you are chasing something that was never designed for you. When you pursue what God has not ordained, you step outside God's timing is not delayed, it's divine preparation. What often feels like a pause or a setback in our lives is really a denial from God. It's a process of shaping, refining, and aligning us with His perfect plan. Human nature desires quick results and instant fulfillment. We want the door to open now, the opportunity to come now, the promise to manifest now. But heaven operates on a different timeline, one not governed by our impatience but by divine wisdom. God's timing is not measured by seconds or calendars. It is measured by readiness, yours and the world's. Sometimes God holds back what He promised because He knows that receiving it too early could destroy you, not develop you. In the waiting season, God is not inactive. He is intentionally preparing you. He is molding your character, strengthening your faith, and teaching you to trust His process even when you can't trace His plan. You may be praying for an open door while God is still building the foundation that can sustain the blessing behind that door. He never delays without purpose. His silence does not mean absence, it means construction. Every season of waiting is a season of becoming, and every delay is preparation for destiny. When we rush ahead of God's timing, we often end up burdened by blessings we weren't ready to carry. The promise of God is never the problem. It's the preparation that determines whether we can hold it. That is why He sometimes allows us to experience what looks like delay, disappointment, or detours. Those moments are divine classrooms where faith is tested and maturity is formed. The waiting season is where humility replaces pride, patience replaces anxiety, and dependence replaces control. You might be looking around, comparing your progress to others, wondering why they seem to be moving forward while you remain in the same place. But what if God is keeping you hidden until the appointed time? What if the delay is not punishment but protection? A fruit that ripens before its time spoils quickly, and a blessing received before maturity can crush you. God's timing ensures that both you and the circumstances around you are ready for the fulfillment of His promise. When you understand that God's timing is preparation, your perspective changes. You stop fighting the waiting season and start embracing it as training for the next level. What you see as slow movement is often divine orchestration. Heaven is never late. It arrives exactly when your heart, your character, and your purpose are fully aligned with what God has prepared for you. When doors close, heaven is redirecting you. It's natural to feel disappointed or even heartbroken when opportunities vanish, plans fail, or paths that once seemed certain suddenly collapse. You may question, oh, why did this happen? I worked so hard, I prayed so much, yet in the silence of that closed door, God often speaks the loudest. Closed doors are not signs of rejection from heaven. They are signs of divine protection and direction. Sometimes God must shut a door to keep you from walking into something that looks good but isn't right for you. We see the surface of opportunity, but God sees the hidden consequences. He knows the path beyond that door, and in His mercy, He redirects your steps before harm or disappointment can take root. When a door closes, the natural instinct is to force it open again. We reapply, we retry, we revisit, hoping that persistence will change the outcome. But what if the closed door is God's way of saving you from a counterfeit blessing? There are opportunities that glitter but do not glorify God. There are positions that seem secure but would have suffocated your purpose. Door is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of redirection. God never closes one door without having another prepared. The challenge is that the next door often isn't visible yet. That hiddenness tests your faith. In those moments, it is easy to think that God has abandoned you or that you are being punished for some failure. But the wilderness is rarely a place of rejection. It is a place of preparation. Preparation. Just as the Israelites wandered in the desert, not as a sentence, but as a necessary journey toward the promised land, God allows seasons of isolation and difficulty to shape, strengthen, and equip you for the purpose He has set before you. The wilderness teaches lessons that comfort and ease never can. In times of scarcity or struggle, reliance shifts from human resources to divine provision. You learn to trust God not because life is smooth, but because He becomes the only source that sustains you. Patience is cultivated in waiting, faith grows in dependence, and endurance is forged in the face of hardship. These lessons are not optional, they are essential. Without the wilderness, many would step into their calling unprepared, unable to handle the responsibilities, pressures, or spiritual challenges that come with greater assignments. Being in the wilderness can feel lonely. You may watch others move forward while you remain in place, or you may wrestle with doubts about whether the path you are on will ever lead to the fulfillment of your dreams. Yet the wilderness is not a sign of neglect, it is a sign of careful guidance. Every day, every trial, every moment of discomfort is God's way of teaching you resilience, humility, and dependence on Him. What seems like stagnation is often divine alignment, shaping your character to match the calling ahead. Many fear the wilderness because it is uncomfortable and uncertain, but divine vision requires divine patience. The dreams and callings God places in our hearts are not meant to be rushed or forced into existence according to our own timing. Huh? Often, when we feel a strong pull toward a purpose or a mission, our natural instinct is to see immediate results, to move quickly, and to measure progress by visible milestones. But God's vision operates on a different timeline, one that is guided not by urgency but by preparation, alignment, and readiness. To pursue a divine vision with impatience is to risk frustration, missteps, and even missed opportunities. Patience is not passive waiting, it is active trust, a steadfast commitment to follow God's direction while He orchestrates every detail behind the scenes. When you embrace divine patience, you learn to distinguish between what is urgent and what is essential. Many times, people abandon their God given vision because the results do not arrive quickly or because obstacles appear too great. Yet, divine vision is never meant to be fulfilled by human speed or strength alone. It requires a heart that can endure delays, a spirit that can withstand opposition, and a mind that can trust the unseen hand of God. Patience allows the vision to mature in the when you stop striving, you start hearing. Life often conditions us to believe that success, breakthrough, or blessing comes only through relentless effort, constant struggle, and non-stop action. We are taught to push harder, chase faster, and fight longer, believing that our own striving will secure the outcomes we desire. Yet there comes a point in what you call a setback. God calls a setup. Life is full of moments that appear as obstacles, failures, or disappointments, and it is natural to feel discouraged when our plans do not unfold as we expected. You may have poured your time, energy, and prayers into a goal or a dream, only to face rejection, delay, or unexpected loss. At first glance, these experiences feel like setbacks, events that halt your progress and challenge your confidence. Yet, when viewed through the lens of divine purpose, these same moments are not endings but beginnings. They are carefully orchestrated setups designed by God to position you for greater success, deeper understanding, and a stronger alignment with His will. We pray for results, promotions, or openings, yet our focus often remains fixed on the calendar rather than the character and preparation God is cultivating within us. Asking when reflects a mindset rooted in human impatience, while asking, "What are you preparing me for?" shifts our perspective to spiritual understanding, trust, and alignment with God's plan. God's work in our lives is never rushed or random. The waiting season, the delay, and the closed doors are not signs of neglect. They are signs of divine shaping. Every challenge, every trial, and every moment of apparent inactivity is designed to prepare you for the fullness of what God intends to do. By asking, "Oh, what are you preparing me for, Lord?" you acknowledge that there is a higher purpose behind the pause, a greater design beyond what your eyes can see. This question cultivates awareness that your present circumstances are not wasted. They are forming the skills, the character, and the faith necessary to step into your destiny. When you focus on a when, you are often measuring your life by the timing of men, comparing your progress to others, and allowing anxiety to take root. But when you focus on a what, your heart begins to align with God's perspective. You start to recognize that every closed door, every delay, and every obstacle is part of a divine curriculum. God is not interested merely in giving you a position, a paycheck, or recognition. He is interested in preparing you to fulfill your calling fully, faithfully, and fruitfully. The question of what opens your heart to learning, growth, and a spiritual maturity. It encourages patience, endurance, and a deeper trust in the unseen workings of heaven. By shifting your focus from timing to preparation, you begin to walk in peace rather than frustration. You recognize that your journey is not just about reaching a destination, but about becoming the person equipped to handle the responsibilities, challenges, and impact of that destination. God's preparation is meticulous, intentional, and always perfect. When you embrace the question of what are you preparing me for, you move from a place of restless expectation to a place of active partnership with God, learning, growing, and positioning yourself for the fullness of His divine plan.